Hello everyone, I'm Nancy Joes from the Department of English. Let's continue discussing the one act play by Anton Chekhov, A Marriage Proposal. So in the last class we stopped where Lomo was left alone in the reception room and now Natalia comes in. And Natalia, it's you. Papa said to go in. There was a dealer in there who would come to buy something. Good afternoon, Ivan Vasilich. So Natalia came in and said, so Papa told me that there is some dealer waiting for me to do some business to buy something. So it's you, Lomo. So it's good afternoon, Ivan Vasilich. So Natalia, used that word dealer, right? So this word might have been purposefully used by Anton Chekhov, playwright, to show that in that society, marriage was seen more like a, business deal by most of the people than something out of love and a sacred ceremony. So Lomov replied, "Good day, my dear Natalia Stepnona. Natalia, you must pardon me for wearing my apron and this dress. We are working today. So I'm sorry for wearing this old dress. See, because we are working. So in order, since the dress will get dirtied, I'm wearing this old dress. I'm sorry for that. So why don't you come often to see us? You have not been here for so long. Sit down." They sat down. "And won't you have something to eat?" Now Natalia asked Lomo why he is not often, visiting them often nowadays. And then she also asked whether he wants something to eat. Lomo, "Thank you. I just have had lunch." So Lomo replies that no need of food because I just had my lunch. And Natalia, "Smoke? Do? There are matches." Now Natalia again says that, "Okay, now you want to smoke?" And then she continues, "Today it is beautiful, and only yesterday it rained so hard that the workman couldn't do a stroke of work. How many bricks have you cut? Think of it. I was so anxious that I had the whole field mowed, and now I'm sorry because I'm afraid the hay will rot. It would have been better if I had waited." So now Natalia is talking all of a sudden about work. So now we can understand something about her character. So she is giving importance to work and all. So she says why, she shares it with Lomo that it's such a beautiful day and yesterday it rained, and she asks whether they have how many bricks they have cut. That means how many bricks they have made, and Natalia also asks whether also shares that yesterday since it was raining her workmen couldn't do any work, and then she also adds that last day she harvested her field, and now since it had rained much her hay will rot. And she also shares her worry that she could have waited, and then she suddenly noticed his dress, his dressing. "But what on earth is this? You are in evening clothes, the latest cut. Are you on your way to a ball? And you seem to be looking better than usual too. Really, why are you dressed up so gorgeously?" Now, Natalia is asking why he is dressed up in a formal way, and she asked whether he was going to attend some function. And now Lomo got excited, and he says, "You see, my dear Natalia Stepnona, it's simply this. I have decided to ask you to listen to me. Of course, it will be a surprise, and indeed you will be angry, but I." Then he suddenly got, he is trying to say that he came with a proposal for Natalia, and suddenly he got tensed and aside to aside he said how awfully cold it is, and Natalia is now confused, and he's like, "What is it?" Well, so Loma again made another attempt. So now I'll try to be brief. My dear Natalia Stepnona, as you know, for many years, since my childhood, I have had the honor to know your family. My poor aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited this estate, always had the greatest respect for your father and your poor mother. Now he is trying to, recollect their family relationship. He says that, "So we know since our childhood, and my uncle and aunt from whom I inherited this place, this property, had great respect with your father and your mother. That is, our parents have a good, my guardian and your parents have a good relationship, and the Lomos and the Chibikaos have been decades on the friendliest, indeed the closest team with each other. And then he had said Lomos and Chibikaos are friendly since decades, since years. And one more thing, furthermore, my property, as you know, adjoins your own. If you will be so good as to remember my meadow statue of Birchwood. So now he also adds the other fact that see, our land, our property is close, lay close to each other. It joins. So if you remember, my meadows, my grassland, and your birchwoods, or like your woods, your plantations are sharing a fence, or they are next to next plot. And Natalia, hearing this, suddenly got alarmed. Natalia, pardon the interruption, you said my meadows, but are they yours? Now there is going to be a dispute regarding this meadows, the ownership of this meadows. And Natalia, so my meadows, how are they yours, Lomo? And Lomo suddenly replied, yes, they belong to me. Lomo said that yes, the meadows belong to him. No, Natalia, what nonsense! The meadows belong to us, not to you. Now, Natalia, they need the fact that it belongs to Lomo. Lomo, no to me. Now, my dear Natalia, step Nona. Natalia, well, that is certainly news to me. How do they belong to you? Now, Natalia say, okay, this is a new news for me that my meadows belongs to you. So, she is again denying the fact, or she is again saying that meadows belong to the Chubicals. So, Natalia, how do they belong to you, Lomo? How? I'm speaking of the meadows lying between your birchwood and my brick earth. Natalia, yes, exactly. They belong to us. Lomo, no, you are mistaken, my dear Natalia Stepnona. They belong to me. Natalia, try to remember exactly when was it. Is it so long ago that you inherited them? So now Natalia is trying to, ask him, do you remember how you inherited them? Lomo, long ago. Yes, I remember. I inherited them. I got that property long ago. As far back as I can remember, they have always belonged to us. So now Lomo says, no, I don't have any doubt, because as far as I can remember, it always belonged to the Lomos. This meadow belongs to the Lomos. So Natalia, but that isn't true. You will pardon my saying so. So Natalia says, I'm sorry to say it belongs to the Chubicals. So now Lomo, it's all a matter of record, my dear Natalia Stepnona. It's true that one time the title of of the meadows was disputed, but now everyone knows they belong to me. There is no room for discussion. So now Lomo says that matter of record means something that is known to everyone, since it is publicly reported or said. So it is recorded statement. So Lomo says that everyone knows that this is my property. It's true that once this property was a disputed one, but now everyone, the public, knows that this property belongs to me, and there is no need for any further discussion. And then he says, be so good as to listen. Please listen. My aunt's grandmother put these meadows at the disposal of your father's grandfather's peasant for a certain time while they were making brick for my grandmother. So now we know Lomo got this property. I mean, he inherited the property from his aunt, right? So this aunt's grandmother once gave this property to Lomo's grandfather's workers, peasants, to live there in return of working and making bricks for Lomo's grandmother. So, and he says that since then, these people lived there for free of cost for almost 40 years, and they used it like their own property. And later, however, he is trying to full that word when Natalia then interrupted. Natalia, there is not a word of truth in that. My grandfather and my great grandfather too knew that their estate reached back to the swamp so that the meadows belonged to us. What further discussion can be there? I can understand. It's almost annoying. So Natalia didn't need that explanation. So there is no grandfather, no grandmother, nothing. So Natalia says that my grandmother and my grandfather and my great grandfather knew that their estate was such a big one, and meadow also belonged to them, and there is no need of discussion. I don't understand anything. This is really annoying. Lomo, I'll show you the papers. Natalia stepped Nona. Now Lomo is getting furious. He says, I'll show you the papers, Natalia. Natalia, no. Either you're joking or trying to lead me into an argument. That is not all nice. We have owned this property for nearly 300 years, and now all at once we learn that it doesn't belong to us. Ivan Vasilich, you'll pardon me, but I really can't believe my ears. And Natalia says that there is no need for argument and discussion and showing papers because it's really clear that for 300 years these meadows and these estates belong to the Chubikows. No need for any clarification. And she is saying that she can't believe her ears. She can't, take the fact that this someone is coming and saying that this meadow belongs to them, because as far as she knows, according to her, this meadow belongs to the Chubikows. And now Natalia is saying that, see, I'm not concerned about the worth because it doesn't worth much. It's not such a big plot of land. But the thing is that I can't, tolerate injustice. So let's stop it here for today. And please add the summary of this portion as your assignment.